Hi, welcome to Musing with Michelle on Monday. Today, I am so excited to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which includes the power of the mind. And I'm going to start by asking a question. Have you ever engaged in any of this type of negative self-talk? I'm unhappy. I'm broke. I'm lonely. I can't lose weight. I've tried everything. I'm always forgetting my keys. I can't get rid of sugar out of my diet. I just can't. I'm addicted, and I really can't stop smoking. If so, I'm going to help you in a bit, teach you how to use your mind to develop new habits and improve your life. I know it works because it's happened in my own life. And I've seen many of my other clients achieve it as well. As a matter of fact, many of my clients, when they leave me, they tell me, you've changed the way I think. And I hope that you can do the same with what I'm going to teach you. But if this is the first time that you're meeting me, let me introduce myself. I'm Michele, a holistic nutrition health coach, and I'm also the CEO and founder of Make Healthy Fit. I'm an award-winning author and a woman who conquered obesity, type 2 diabetes, and survived a relationship trauma. Now I am so thrilled that I get to work with women and help them develop the mindset that they need to conquer their wellness goals. And I do that by looking at how all areas of the life are connected and how that affects their mind, their body, and their spirit. So before I jump in and talk to you about 3 things you're going to need to know in order to change your life, I'm going to put it into context with a story about myself. Because in 2011, I didn't understand anything about the mind. All I was worried about was in 2011 was conquering my health issues, because I was a heart attack and stroke waiting to happen. That is not a good thing. And so the doctor had basically told me that if I didn't change my lifestyle, that he was going to put me on insulin and that I was having some changes in my kidneys. And so I immediately remember in the office when he delivered this message to me, I felt like crying because I thought about my daughter being parentless. I was a single mom, and I also did not want to be taking insulin injections. So my reasonings for wanting to get healthy were all the things that I didn't want in my life. And then this is where a miracle happened. And it came after a hopeless thought. And that hopeless thought first was, I'm in the gym. I finally decided to get a fitness trainer to work on my body because I had made enough progress. I was almost halfway to my health goals that I realized that my body, I started to see all my skin sag. And I was like, oh, this is not good. This is not what I thought that weight loss was going to be about. But this is what happens when you're having to shed 115 pounds. And so I go to the gym and I'm standing in front of the mirror like this. And my arms were literally down to here. And most of it was sagging skin. And I remember thinking to myself, there's no way that I'm ever going to have arms that are toned just by lifting weights. I thought I was going to have surgery, and that was a limiting belief in my life. And I didn't even know how I was going to tackle the rest of my body that started to sag. But all I knew is that my arms were visible and people couldn't see underneath of my clothes. And the arms meant a lot to me. And so I left there feeling a little defeated. And then a couple months later, it was my birthday and I turned 51 years old. And in Washington, they were launching the Taste of DC, which was this huge event. It was, vendors. They had, activities for the kids. They had bands that were there. They had wine tasting, beer tasting. And I said, oh yeah, that's how I'm spending my birthday. So I went by myself. I got myself a ticket. I got on a train. I went to Washington, D.C. I partied a little bit. And then I thought I had partied just enough. And so I decided to go down and listen to the bands. Well, there weren't a lot of people that showed up for the first two bands because they weren't as well known. And so I happened to get a standing right in the front row, right in front of one of the band members. And it was really one of their front men, which was Tommy Shaw. And as I'm going to turn around and point to that, because you need to know that this event actually made me want to go meet Tommy about a year later at a meet and greet that he was having with his fans. And so what happened is Styx comes on, they're playing one of their songs, and I get lost in the music. And what you didn't know about me is that, or don't know about me, is that I was a dancer. For 10 years, I danced. And I loved to dance. But it was so hard when I was overweight because I had trouble just getting up a step and breathing. But that night I was halfway there and I had some more energy and I just let it all go. And so I listened to every beat of the music. I just remember getting lost in the music. I don't even think my eyes were open and my arms were flailing in the air and my hips were going back and forth. And at the end of it all, when I was catching my breath, I heard this man screaming. And I'm looking around trying to figure out what's going on. And then I noticed that right in front of me, right on the stage in front of me, is Tommy Shaw on his knee with his finger pointing at me, screaming, you are Miss America. And then he kept doing it until it sunk in that he was talking to me. I was like, he's talking to me? I'm Miss America? Oh my God. And so I just remember being sort of giddy that night and giggly, and that was pretty much it. You know, I was trying to absorb what had just happened, but it wasn't until I went home the next day that I realized that that man didn't see an obese woman in the crowd. He saw the spirit of a woman who was appreciating his music. And you know, I would imagine if you're a musician, it means a lot to you that somebody gets it. And I really got it. I was moving to every beat of the drum. I knew that that song, Miss America, was a real rock song because I could rock my body hard. And guess what happened? And that's the miracle. All of a sudden, I didn't want to get healthy for the wrong reasons. I wanted to show up as Miss America at the next concert. Heck, if somebody's going to tell me I'm Miss America, then by gosh, I'm not showing up any other way. And so there were days that I had to use positive self-talk for 30 minutes to get myself off of the couch, off the recliner, and talk myself into just 10 minutes. Lift the dumbbells. Just get up, because if you do nothing, nothing's going to change. But what was happening in my brain is I had planted all these seeds of what I wanted to be. I kept visioning what my body used to look like when I was young, the hourglass shape, the fit woman. And I just decided I'm going to be that. And I kept seeing that picture in my mind and thinking about it over and over and over. I didn't understand that I was doing something that professionals out there knew. I was replanting seeds. So now that I've told you my story, let me put it into how it works for you. We have two pieces of our mind. We have a conscious mind, which is happening right now. When I'm talking to you, just like putting your keys somewhere, you may not remember everything I say. I can guarantee you're not going to remember every detail of everything I say. Because you have to go to bed at night usually for your memories and anything that happened throughout the day to kind of get planted in that subconscious mind. But it's easily going to fly away if you only think about this once. But think about it. Sometimes when somebody reads something, they see something, they hear it 3 times, all of a sudden they remember it. Well, it's the same thing with your brain. Whatever you repeatedly plant in your mind is what pops up in your thoughts. Because we all have 70,000 thoughts every day. And almost 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts that we planted the day before. So if we are, or that have been repeatedly planted for many, many days and months and years. And so what happens is we wake up in the morning and the same thoughts that we thought yesterday are what's on our mind. I feel so uncomfortable in my body. Oh, I can't stand putting on clothes. They just don't fit me anymore. Whatever negative thing that you're saying to yourself over and over again is going to pop up. And I'm going to use the example of a song. I knew every lyric to Miss America. I know every lyric to almost all of Styx songs and Elton John and Queen and all of the classic rock bands that I listened to over and over and over again. And that's how we remember them. But there are days that I can't remember somebody's name that they just told me because I haven't planted it. It's the same thing as your phone. Years ago, before smartphones came out, we had to, dial numbers all the time. D, right on. Son, I remember the dial phones, right? And so you had to remember the number. Well, now we've got them programmed into our smartphones, so we don't have to remember them. So I can't even remember sometimes my own daughter's phone number. So I want you to understand that when you're planning negative thoughts, you are actually planting seeds that are weeds in your mind, just like you would plant a weed in your garden. So in your garden, you don't normally plant weeds on purpose. And I know you're not planting weeds on purpose in your mind. I'm not here to criticize anybody. I did it. We are programmed that way from the time we're born. Because don't touch the stove, don't go across the street. All these things that we're told not to do because even your parents and the people that love you, including yourself, we all live with our brain trying to protect us, to keep us safe. And so what happens is usually when we're, fearing something, it's because we're afraid to fail. We're afraid of getting hurt, whatever. And that usually stops us. If we tell people we're going to try this and we're not going to do it, we're not going to stick to our commitment, we're even afraid to say or believe it because we don't believe that we've ever been able to do it before. And so just like the weeds that grow in the ground, the weeds that grow in your head have to be removed. Only, you probably can't hire somebody to do that for you other than to help you and to teach you how to do it yourself, right? Other than working with a professional that's going to keep you accountable to doing that. And I do that with a lot of my clients who, when they leave, they say to me, you've changed the way I think. Because how you think means everything to your life, your success, the action you take. So now that you understand that you are planting either weeds or flowers in your mind, you need to understand that there's a way for you to grow more flowers. And that is to use positive statements. So in the morning, if you get up and you hear yourself say something negative, you're going to say, cancel, cancel, or cancel that. And you're going to replace it with something positive. That's your first step. The second step is that you're intentionally going to come up with a list of statements that are positive, affirmations like, I am strong. I am no longer a cigarette smoker. I am healthy. I am creating new relationships. And you don't want these statements to be in the future like, I will get healthy. You want it to state like you are already. You are telling yourself who you are. I tell myself every day that I am not just a national speaker, I am also in Congress, and I am advocating and helping to reverse the epidemic of obesity and type 2 diabetes in this country. And I believe that if you're crazy enough to believe something, that you can change the world. And I am going to never give up that dream. Because I know what's broken in the health system, because for 30 some years, I worked as a director for quality and patient safety. I was a leader in healthcare, and I had to go outside the health system to change my life. I have a strong belief in myself. I have a powerful message, and I am not No matter what obstacles come in my way, I am never giving up. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to say them I am statements every day until all of a sudden the third step happens. Because once you start planning them in your mind every day, you're inspiring yourself. You are motivating yourself. You actually start believing that you're capable. You actually start developing new relationships, because what's happening is you're waking up positive instead of negative. You're not downing yourself anymore. Your best friend, you wouldn't want your best friend to down yourself, so why are you doing it to yourself? You are your best friend. And so what happens is you start taking these small actions thinking, yeah, I can do that today. I can do one little thing. You know what? I'm gonna eat a little healthier today. Or I'm going to take a 5-minute walk. That's how I started my journey, with a 10-minute walk every day. And I was resistant to even doing that, but I did it. And 6 months later, I was having a blast walking. I was now putting headphones in my ears. I was going out with the sun beating and the warmth on my body, and I was getting lost in the music just like I had done at that concert. And I started walking 4 to 5 miles, 5 to 6 times a week. Miracles can happen, but only you can create them with your mind. And so I want to ask you to do 2 things. One is whatever negative things you talk about your life, your family, whatever it is in your life that you're putting limiting beliefs on because of your own thoughts, I want you to write a positive affirmation down in the comments. I am whatever. I am changing this. I can this. I am strong. I am capable. Whatever pops into your mind. And second, if you need help with a list to give you something to reference, I have a very long list of positive affirmation statements that I give my private clients to pick from and to help get their creativity going. I am willing to give that to you if you write down in the comments positive. And then I'll know you want those positive affirmations, and I will reach out to you and message you the copy of that list. I also just want to invite you back to session 3 of Musing with Michele next Monday. If you think that you have friends that can benefit from this, please feel free to invite them. And do not forget to go to the YouTube page and subscribe to this channel so that you can be notified of future musing meetings or sessions. And so that whatever you don't remember in your conscious mind, just hearing it for the first time, you have the chance to go back and listen as many times as you want until you plant that in your subconscious mind and change the way you think. I'm signing off. I wish you peace, and we'll talk again soon next week. Bye-bye.